In terms of the basketball, in a league where everybody is looking for floor spacing, for stretching the floor, the Spurs have shrunk it like nobody else in the league. LaMarcus Aldridge was #1 in the league last season in mid-range field goals. DeRozan led the East in mid-range attempts. How does this work just from a basketball point of view?
I think DeRozan fits perfectly there. And not only that, I think he's Pop's kind of player. I think he's a San Antonio kind of player. They run a lot of pin downs. They run cross screens. They put it in the post. They run split action. They got backdoor cuts. They really, play a half-court offense, and they play it to perfection. And by the way, defensively, they're long. They got length. Their defensive scheme is sound. So I really think he really fits that system, that style of play. And if I'm not mistaken, last year they won, close to 50 games, right? So this is a good basketball team.
47.
47.
Yeah.
Close to 50.
It is close. No, you're right.
Yeah. So they won. This is a good basketball team that he's joining, and that was without Kawhi Leonard.
9 games.
So
right.
yeah. So now you add a DeRozan, who is an improvement because you didn't have Kawhi. So you're probably going to be a much better team than you were last year.
Presumably an improvement over someone who's not playing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
An all-star who is on the floor is better than the all-star who's not only not on the bench but somewhere else altogether. What do you think?
No, I like this team, and I think they're kind of, sort of under the radar here. People are saying they may not make the playoffs. I think they're in the playoffs. You have Gregg Popovich, that culture, 2 all-stars, DeRozan, and Aldridge. I think they can coexist. They shoot mid-range, but it's kind of how they shoot their mid-range. Aldridge, a lot of them are out of the post. Of course, DeRozan, a lot off the dribble. He's improved as a three-point shooter as well. I'm curious about Murray, DeJounte Murray. I thought he had a really good year last year, rebounding the basketball defensively. I think if he can continue to improve, I like this team, and I like this addition, and I think DeRozan will continue his stellar play on the offensive end. He hasn't been historically great in the playoffs. His production's dropped a little bit in the postseason from the regular season. But I like him in San Antonio, and Pop will find ways to move him around and take advantage of his skill set.
And they'll need him to be a scorer.
Potentially, they could have the steal of the draft. When I look at the draft pick,
Lonnie Walker.
Lonnie Walker from Miami,
yeah. His athleticism, his understanding of the game, his intellect. He is a guy who's flying under the radar. But don't be surprised if a guy like him is in a running for Rookie of the Year because he's that talented.
Interesting.
And they need what he does so badly. He's a live wire offensively, and they're going to need that. I think the thing that was the most pronounced about their team last year, January 30th, they're 34-19. They're 3rd in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
And then they go 13-16 the rest of the way, and
right.
almost all of that erosion was on the defensive side of the ball. Well, at that time, that's when all of the Kawhi thing is starting to spiral out of control, and there's all this innuendo and who said this and who said that, and they lost trust and faith in what they were doing. So I think just getting a fresh start, bringing a player like DeMar into the mix, and again, just as Danny Green's significant for Toronto, Jakob Poeltl is not a throwaway piece for San Antonio.
No, not at all. Not at all.
He will be really meaningful for them because he can run a lot of the offense that Pop likes to run as well. I think you'll see this team go back to playing more like they did in the 13-14 finals when Bud was running the offense and it was bodies and ball. You're going to see a lot more movement in their offense, and they'll take advantage of more of DeRozan's ability to slash and maybe put him in less positions of needing to jack a 3 at the end of a shot clock. Now, again, that Toronto team was fantastic, and offensively they were really good, but they were actually thrilled that they were able to get DeMar just to take the 3 he was supposed to take.
Right.
Don't even worry about making it. Right? Just take
and
that
he didn't
one.
shoot it at a high percentage. He just took more.
So now you've put DeMar with the best shooting coach in the NBA, Chip England. It's going to be fascinating to see how this goes.
And they're going to need him to score, obviously. They were not a particularly efficient offensive team last season. Be really interesting to see what happens. Let's hear Gregg Popovich's thoughts on his 18-19 team.
What does Brent Berry's role? I don't know what the vice president of basketball operations does personally. What is his role?
Lunch. He goes to lunch. He brings me coffee. No, I don't do that. Brent, he's going to be a liaison in a lot of ways between the G League, the front offices, of the ATT Center and here, making sure that everything is copacetic. But what we'll value even more than that is his incisive nature to the game. He's really intelligent, as we all know, but he really understands people, and I think he's going to be a great judge of talent. And I'm going to, depend on him for that, as will RC. He's got a great sense of humor, so it'll be fun having him around. And, with all that, he's going to become a very valuable part of what we do.
Good to see Monty get back on the sidelines. Brett.
Oh, yeah. Brett was looking for another assistant, and Monty was the obvious choice, and he was pretty hungry. He's in all our coaches' meetings all year long, and he just wanted to get back in the saddle for sure. So it's a great fit for him to be in Philly with Brett.
At this coaches retreat, did Manu come up with the idea that's going to save the whole franchise, that's going to turn everything around?
I think so. He wanted to know, I think, no less than 14 things that I do, and he wanted to know why I did them. But he thought they were baloney the whole time he was here. He was too respectful to say anything.
So now he's just...
So the whole thing is going to change. So, no, he was a great addition because he was smart enough to listen in the beginning. It's like a new job in a way. You listen and you figure out the lay of the land, and he did that. And then as it went along, and we got to dinner on the first day, he started to open up, and by the second, third, fourth day, he was right in the middle of arguing about everything. So it was great to have him because his insights are so good.
Send Boris a bottle of wine for his retirement?
Yeah, Boris, I'm expecting him to come back when he runs out of money paying for that. when he can't pay for that boat anymore, he's going to want to come back.
I'm just happy he could retire so he can finally relax.
Exactly. He's been relaxed for a long time. Okay? Take care. Welcome back. Good to see you all.